As you can see, it's thinning down. What you gotta do is watch the news. I mean, now you go watch the news. There's always threats of nuclear warfare and all this. Every day on the news, man. Putin, Trump, all that. Threats of nuclear war and all this. So, what the scripture says, discern the, it says to discern the times. Yeah. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what, if you got any more on that?
No, I was about to bring out something else.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Ephesians 5:15 as well.
Yeah, I'll that quickly, yeah.
Because you got to know what time you're in, man. Because the mercy seat of the Heavenly Father is closing. So we're out here for the elect, so the elect can, get this understanding. So when the destruction comes, that you got the hedge, and that's what see. What's going to keep you as the faith in that day is the knowledge. Nothing else. The faith of the Lord, the truth. That's going to have you as a sure foot in that day.
Knowledge and wisdom so stipulated at that time, man.
Exactly.
And when these people are without that knowledge, without that wisdom, so what do you think is going to happen to them?
Yep.
In that time, man, they're going to bug the hell
know
up.
what to do. They're going to have the hedge. They're mentally going to be all over the place. They don't even know what's going on.
That's right. Yeah. Ephesians 3 verse 5 was it?
Ephesians 5:15.
5:15.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. This is Ephesians chapter 5 verse 15. It says here, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil.
What, the days are evil? So you ain't supposed to be walking around just believing that everything's just going to be going good forever. And now look, you've even got right now this talk of recession, a great a great recession to come. You got talks about the next economic crash. The experts are saying is going to be the biggest crash that you ever seen. What's up? Everything good, man?
Yeah.
Right, that's cool.
I just told him I'm here every other week. He looked on the YouTube page, saw the video, saw the tree, and he went about his business.
I also actually did some research. Okay.
Yeah, they get, they're just a bit, go on, bro. Things might be a bit out of the norm sometimes, a bit more, yeah.
But really, they're from out of town, those ones.
Right, they don't know you.
Yeah. I asked them how come I haven't seen you. He said they've been drafted in.
Okay.
Drafted in.
There's gonna be that going on, man.
Yeah,
no, but it's because it's school holidays. That's why.
Well, I'm talking about the draft, man.
There's gonna be a lot of people drafted in.
That's right. Man, they're gonna draft a lot of you guys in, man, to be for them, man. But this is Ephesians 5 verse 15 again. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil.
Yeah, so if you can't see that we're in a time of complete destruction, you're not wise. End of. Mm-hmm. You're a fool. I don't care what degree you got. That doesn't discern the times of what's going on around you. Geopolitics. And a lot of people they don't really want to get into that because they're scared. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are just playing out wicked. Many reasons. The Lord hasn't opened their eyes. But like I said, all you got to do is put that news on. Now, like we was talking about that next the crash, they were saying that this next crash, this next crash that happens, there's going to be no recovery from it. Because you had the 2008 depression. Now, even you had this expert, Peter Schiff, he's been doing videos. I did a video on that where he basically, and the last time he spoke, he talked about Bitcoin and said that was going to flop. And you had this dude, Max Kaiser, man. The Joker from... riding the Joker from Batman.
He does look like not Heath Ledger's one, the one before that.
Yeah,
old school
one.
Jack Nicholson's one.
So he was talking about how, basically we're out doing the elites. And the elites set that up, man. Cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, because funny, they don't know who made it, innit?
Hidden crypt means hidden, man. Yeah. Hidden currencies. And that's what the whole thing is about. That it's just hidden. But that's what they want, a digital currency. That's what they want.
Yeah, to infuse with their chip, man.
And everyone that put their money into that, what happened? The site shut down, and a lot of people lost their houses over investing into that cryptocurrencies.
Going balls in on it, man.
That's what happened.
Well, that whole, I mean, people that are supposed to be into the economy, like Max Kaiser. Who was it? Max Kaiser? You call him the Joker?
Yeah.
He's supposed to know that most of this stuff is a fad. The whole money system is a Ponzi scheme. Or the only thing that gives the monetary system any value is the people that believe in it. That's it. Because once that belief is gone, that money is worthless. The same thing with these with the houses. What gives a house a value? Oh, we people like this street, so the value goes up.
Yeah. But he was saying that. But he was trying to say, well, if people don't gold and silver, if people put more belief in that than gold and silver, this is the kind of bullshit he was saying in that interview.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, man, gold and silver, people have been using that for centuries, man.
Because you don't have to believe gold is expensive.
Exactly.
It just is.
Exactly. You know, what do they call it? Intrinsic
value. That's it. Not euphoric value, which is where you get your bitcoins, where you get your dollars. That's euphoric.
Yeah.
Where they say people just buy it because other people are buying it, and then what happens? Poof, the market bursts.
Well, gold's always been a precious metal. It's always had a value in societies that it's been in, man.
Yeah.
The only reason why gold is not established or looked at like that is because they've replaced it with the petrodollar and stuff like that, and people believe in that over gold and silver, man. Okay, which has brought the price of gold and silver down.
Yep.
Okay, but even at this moment in time, it's still being suppressed to what it's really worth. Okay, but once all these currencies go down, guess what comes back into play? Gold and silver. But that's exactly what's going to happen to society. All these currencies that these people use, these paper money, fiat currency, man, that's going to be worth jack. Okay, so you're going to have to return it to something else.
What is it, Leviticus 19 or something about unjust weights? It's like 19. It says, well, even you've got a false abundance, but that balance, I think that's in Proverbs. You've got unjust weights.
Right. I'll go a quick precept.
Oh.
This is the book of James 5:1. It says, "Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl, for your misery shall not come. For misery shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted." So you're talking about the monetary system. That's built off of corruption.
Yep.
That's why they have it's a debt system.
Yep, debt-based.
It's a debt-based system because they're saying what they say is the science behind the dollar is that they borrow what? They borrow money from the Federal Reserve, and that's where you get your currencies from. So before you even pay your taxes on the dollars that you get in your bank account, you already owe money with interest to the elite banking families, which own the Federal Reserve. That makes the whole thing corrupted because they said that when they make that deposit from the Federal Reserve, it's from the account has a zero balance, and that's fraud. That's fraud.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fraud. And when you really try to figure out, okay, where does the money come from, bro? You have a headache. And Henry Ford said that if these people knew where their money came from, they would uproar because it's fraudulent. Two, they make it so convoluted for you not to understand because they know the whole thing's corrupted.
Yep.
So let me just finish this. It says, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered.
And they're going to cause, and the elites, they're going to cause everyone to get the chip.
Yeah.
So all those IOUs and all that, that's all going to go out the window anyway. Now look what's going on in Venezuela right now. Mm-hmm. You know, that place is
that extra zero to the currency.
That place is jacked up, man.
Inflated to hell.
Exactly. So that's what's going to come, the jacking up of the money system. You know, you got economic countries right now that are in more dire straits, and others right now as we speak, that the whole FRN system is all jacked up, the IOU system is jacked up, man. Then you got America, right? They're in debt themselves. So what they need is more water, more oil, start more wars, which cost. So they need to get more in debt, you know, just to do that. So that what's going to happen? That's a bubble that's just going to burst, man. And then this time when it happens, this time round, there's going to be no. The only solution that the elites want out is that chip. That's their next phase of this, you know. And they were saying that around this time, there was a Business Insider a magazine, and said around this time that's when it was going to implement the crash of the whole world money systems. So you know, and it's look at the Dow Jones. Go on, bro.
So it says, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh, as it were fire. You have heaped treasures for the last days. That goes into what? Revelations, the 18th chapter.
Yep.
How the Most High had set it up to where what? America is what? The center point for all of those economic transactions. Okay, well, Esau is the one that conducts all of those economic transactions or whatever. Once Esau goes down, that's it.
Merchants of the whole world, man.
That's it. That's it.
Yep. No.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
they said that the plan is to get of the elites is to exterminate like what, about 8 billion people off the planet.
Yep.
And have the remaining people, like they want to chip everyone and then kill the rest of them anyway. And then have the remaining chip slaves. There's just some. I mean, come on, man. You know?
Dystopian or what?
Yeah. That smells of dystopia. You know what I mean? That reeks of dystopia, mate. Go on, man.
It's Proverbs 20 verse 23. It says, diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good.
Yeah, so when you got a money system, if you're calling it $1 or a pound, that's a weight. And that's the righteous way you're supposed to deal with things. It's fair. You got actual weights, but the money system, the Federal Reserve, is not based off. It's supposed to be backed by gold, but they took it out.
Yeah.
And they did it around the same time in England and America in 1914, 1918. There's an actual act where they took the gold out. I can't remember the name of the one in Britain, but it was the same thing, the same year. They took it out, you know.
They did it in America. They was at some island or some shit.
Jekyll Island.
Jekyll Island, that's it.
I think the meeting was at Jekyll Island in 1913, and then the next year they just fucking implemented that.
Because they had a few iterations of that dollar. They had greenbacks. They had the gold. I don't know. I can't remember if greenbacks were backed by gold or whatever. But they had like 3 versions of that dollar. One was backed by gold, and then they, over the time, they just switched it to oil.
Yep.
Stole from the people, basically.
Yeah, because they took everybody's gold.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the people went to recheck their gold. I forget when that was.
During was it Nixon's reign?
Something like
President.
that. Something like that. But then he put some laws out there in place, and people basically couldn't take their gold out from the vaults in it because he stole it.
Okay. You see? Yeah, good. Go on, man. Did you find one in Leviticus?
No, I didn't find it just.
That's alright. Let me find it. Did we read a false balance as an abomination?
Yeah, I just read that. Yeah.
Go back to that. Go back to that.
It's Proverbs 23 verse. It's like Proverbs 20 verse 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good.
There you go, a false balance, man. Like we said, in the kingdom, what does the scripture say? That the other nations, they're going to bring onto us their gold and their silver. You know, we ain't going to be having. First of all, the money system is paper. It's not even real money. It's really not. It's not real money. That was a receipt that they used for how much money, gold and silver you had.
They had deposited.
Oh well, let's get Genesis 13:1.
You still have it to this day, innit?
Yeah, I mean, let's pull out one of these fucking. You gotta get in that spirit, man. Pull out one of these fucking notes.
None of me that are plastic.
Right, let's pull out one of these notes. So it says £10, but a pound is weight, mate. It's not a pound. It's not. There's nothing about that. Look at it. They got.
But it says, what did it say? It says, I promise to pay the bearer.
Yeah.
That was the weight, isn't it? You're supposed to get that weight back.
Yeah.
In gold.
Absolutely.
I promised to pay the bearer of what? The note that you was going to get £5 in gold. And what? A pound out of what? The stones there, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. That's I promised to pay, yeah.
So you're supposed to have 5, and that's a lot of money. £5 worth of gold. That's a lot of money. That's a rich man. But if you go back in the day, when the pound actually was like a pound, like in strength, you could live off of a year for about £10. Going back in the day.
Right.
But now because of the inflation, because it's not backed by anything, and it ain't a promise, it was just a big lie. The pound's basically in comparison, is basically worthless.
Yeah.
It fluctuates every day.
Yeah, it fluctuates
every hour, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that stockbroking.
Yeah. They're talking about Brexit. He's gonna devalue the pound. Man, you go back in the day, the pound was like £10 was like you was a super duper rich person.
Well,
Buying houses.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it was what? You had that promise you was going to go to the bank and that's how much gold or silver you was going to have. You was going to have in return. Because everything back then was what? It was gold back. It was silver back.
I say no matter what happens, man, gold is always going to have value. Always. Like a piece of paper, it was never worth shit in the
Gold's
first place.
multi-use as well.
Yeah.
They use it in PCs. So
Yeah,
they use it for the. I'm sure they use it for the chip in the PC.
Yeah.
So you got gold in there. You got gold in phones.
Silver as well. Yeah.
Silver. You know.
Silver as well, man.
So all you people that say, "Oh, gold ain't got no use," you don't know shit. What you talking about, man?
Well, you go into electrics.
I don't mind.
I think gold and silver are the best metals to
Did you have a nice time with
conduct
them?
electricity. So when you're making a PCB, a high-end PCB, you really want it to be made out of what? Gold and that. Now they use copper.
There's got to be a reason why they're called precious metals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these divs, it's a periodic table. You know, you got metals of lesser stature, and lesser, more precious.
Yep.
Metals. Like you got tin and copper and stuff, and then you got silver.
Well, the healthiest cup to drink out of is a gold cup.
Gold and silver. Yeah, gold.
I mean, you can say glass because it's inert, but if you're talking about getting something back,
Yeah.
you're better off drinking out of a gold and silver because you get those what's known as trace metals.
Yeah.
Your body has and needs and
That's it.
yep.
Hey, well, if you got what was that? You got a serious ailment. I can't remember, like AIDS.
AIDS, the silver you get.
Use colloidal
silver. But you wouldn't have that if you was drinking out of a silver mug.
Exactly.
You'd be getting it.
Right, because you in your body you got
There's trace elements
in
inside.
there. So you're feeding your body, man, what you need, but it's like a lack of a lot of these things. Your body starts deteriorating, man.
That's it.
Eating GMO foods all day. Let's read that. Let's read that. That goes into it.
Yeah, you said you were in Genesis 30 verse 1.
13. That's why Esau's the devil, man. How come he ain't telling nobody about all this? Go on, man.
This is Genesis 13 verse 1. It says, and Abraham went up to Egypt, and he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver and in gold.
Now, guess what? The international bankers, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they've got gold and silver. They've got that, but they're just not gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know that. First of all, this Rothschilds, Rockefellers. Like, let's go back to the earlier Rothschilds, man. Amschel and all that. Them early, they were rabbis and shit. Like, some of them were rabbis, some of them. So they knew about the scriptures, man. You understand what I'm saying? So they know about what's in the scriptures. But guess what, man? They keep that knowledge for themselves. They know about that. They know about the golden. So they know about the money. They know what you're supposed to do, but they're not doing it. They're doing the opposite. Okay. So they know, man. A lot of those top elites, they call themselves Jews, right? They got all these rabbis. The rabbis got rabbis around them. They know. So they know. Anytime you see a picture of Evelyn Rothschild, it's got gold. Why is that, man? But here it is. You're the one with the FRNs, with the IOUs, with the plastic notes, and you think that's real money and value? No, it's not, mate. It's absolutely not, bro. Go on, man.
That was it, man.
That is something. Read it again. Touch it, man.
This is from verse 1 again. It says, Abraham went up out of Egypt, and he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. Verse 2.
That shit reminded me of. Remember, was it Noddy?
What's that?
No, was it Noddy? No, not Noddy. Was it Noddy? Remember Noddy?
Noddy.
Oh, forget it. Shit.
I'm not sure.
It's like a kids program.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then you had you know.
This is verse 2. And Abraham was very rich in cattle, in silver and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning.
So he said he was rich in what? Cattle, silver and gold? So even cattle and stuff. That's another reason why the state owns all private, all this land is private property of the state. So you can't make no money, man. They've privatized all of that, you know. And that's part of keeping people blocked together in these cities. A lot of these cities are just gridded slave blocks.
That goes back to the railway.
With it, you know, but they've like I said, through the 10 communist manifestos and all that, they're privatizing all the land and getting all resources onto themselves. That's why in America, a lot of those troops over there actually go to farms and confiscate, you know, their farms off them and stuff like that. You know, they don't want you to own any land. Even the house, the property you renting. Hey, what the Bible says, we've got no shore dwelling place. Matter of fact, get Haggai 1 and 6. Haggai 1:6. And that's part of the New World Order too, to own fucking everything and have you not even owning yourself. Pretty much like that Black Mirror episode, you know. You got that up?
Yeah. Haggai 1 and 6. He says, you have sown much, but you bring in little.
Yeah, you do know these hours at the job, mate. And then what really have you got to show for it? The amount of work that you do. You're supposed to be able to solidify yourself to own a business or something. But really you're just working to pay your debts, your bills, mate. That's a debt slave.
Maintaining.
Yeah. If you miss a payment on your rent, you ain't got no short accommodation even.
Most people will be in financial hell if